Hi guys, welcome back to Good by Greens. I'm Alicia and today we are going to be making an Ahi Tuna Appetizer. Now this does contain raw Ahi tuna, so if you're not a raw fish fan, sushi fan, seafood fan, you may want to come back next week because this recipe might not be for you. But for all of you, people that love sushi and stuff like that and are always bummed that it's pretty minimal at a lot of sushi restaurants of what kind of things you can order. Very often you're just ordering sashimi or maybe just a couple other things on the menu. This is a fantastic appetizer to serve to guests. If you know that they are a big fan of raw fish, since this is paleo, they won't even know, but it's something great that you can just put out or pass around, and it has lots of really fresh ingredients. So we have a piece of raw Ahi tuna. Now this is about 3/4 of a pound, maybe slightly less than that. The biggest thing with this, this is wild caught. You want to know where you're buying your fish from, especially because you are going to be eating this raw. So you want to make sure that it's from a really reputable source. I don't advise you eating raw fish if you're nervous about it or if you have any of, the medical conditions stuff. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know when you are or aren't supposed to be eating raw fish, but just be careful. Don't eat raw fish if you don't normally eat raw fish, and also just make sure that you know where you're getting it from. So for some vegetables, we're not going to be using the whole of each of these, but a cucumber and a red bell pepper. We have my favorite, avocado, some green onions, and then for the sauce that we're going to make, we're going to be using a little bit of tahini, which is sesame paste, some more of that chili garlic that I love. We're going to be using some fresh ginger, lime juice, a little bit of salt, and some coconut aminos. We're not going to be using a ton of coconut aminos, so we are going to still want to use a little bit of kosher salt. So the lime juice does slightly cook the fish a little bit. If you've ever had ceviche, that's one of the ways that they, cook the fish. The acid in the fish helps kill any of the bacteria that might be there. So this probably will help a little bit, but again, if you're worried about eating raw fish, maybe not the best appetizer for you. And then endive leaves. Now, what we're going to do is cut off the ends and just peel these leaves off, wash them, and these are going to kind of be our little boat-looking things to serve our Ahi Tuna Appetizer. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is chop up all of our vegetables. We're going to chop up our red bell pepper, our cucumber, our green onion, our avocado, and then also cut up our raw Ahi tuna. After we do that, then we can make the dressing that we're going to pour over the top of it. So now that we have all of our Ahi tuna and our vegetables all chopped up, we can make the dressing. So we'll grab our bowl. Let me move the cutting board out of the way. First thing we're going to add is our sesame paste. We can add some of our chili garlic sauce. Now you, again, can feel free to leave this out if you don't want any spice, and also if you're not a big fan of that kind of seasoning. We're gonna use the juice of 1 lime. Let me cut the lime in half. We're gonna add just a pinch of salt. Don't worry, I washed my hands in between this, so I wasn't just touching raw fish and just stuck my hands into the salt container. We have a little bit of coconut aminos. And then we have some ginger, so let me go grab my peeler. And then we have some peeled ginger that we're just going to grate over the bowl. Okay, so we can whisk this all together. That sesame paste, the tahini, is really gonna help make this a little thicker, which will help it stick to the ahi tuna and all the vegetables. Okay, so now that this is all smooth, we can take our whisk out. And we can add our ahi tuna along with all of the avocado and cucumber, green onion, and red bell pepper. And now we can just lightly toss this in the sauce. You don't want to stir too much, or I should say too fast or too vigorously, just because you definitely don't want to break up that tuna and have it disintegrate. So you can just kind of lightly toss this. And now we're gonna cover it with plastic wrap and place it into the fridge for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then we can put it into our endive cups and it's ready to serve. Okay, so it's been just under an hour and I just pulled this out of the fridge. And so we can remove the plastic wrap. And as what I did was just cut off the very end piece of the endive, and these little leaves come out, and they're really easy. They're super cute kind of little boat things. You can also use these for like if you make like taco meat or like lettuce wrap type stuff, and you can kind of serve them in this type of a fashion instead of just using like iceberg lettuce or something. So we can move this back. And this is just a little platter that I have that I have some of the endive leaves arranged on. And we're just going to scoop out some of this mixture and kind of fill it right into the endive leaf. Again, you want to make sure your hands are clean because you are going to be touching the food a little bit. So we're going to fill up each of these. And now they are ready to serve. You can finish off the rest of the endive leaves with the remaining ahi tuna mixture, and then they are ready for your guests. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make these ahi tuna appetizers. You get a little bit of that crunch from the cucumber, red bell pepper, and the green onion, a little zip from that chili garlic paste, and it's just nice and creamy bite from the sesame paste and the ahi tuna. So this is perfect for spring or summer, and I hope you've enjoyed. Bye.